Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I got a question about security here that I thought this was interesting because a lot of developers sometimes find security problems, and we hear about this in the news all the time, right? Someone finds this big security flaw and then they report it publicly, and then the company sues them, or they go to jail, or the company hides it, and it ends up being this whole big thing. So I thought this was good. I got this question from Dillinger, and he said, "Hi John, I've been watching Simple Programmer on YouTube, and they've helped me quite a lot. I was just wondering if I could ask you a few questions regarding security in the development field. So how would you go about letting a company know of a vulnerability? I've approached companies before and received praise. However, I've been warned about the repercussions of a bad reaction." So this is an interesting, kind of maybe a moral question of whether you should report a security flaw that you see at all. I think there's a few different reasons why people get bad reactions, and I'm going to talk about, first of all, the most obvious one, which is when you exploit the security and then you report it because you feel guilty, you get a bad reaction. So, for example, if your bank had a security problem and you used it to transfer a bunch of money to your account and then you told them about it, they're not going to be happy about that because they've seen you exploit it. You didn't just discover it, you used it on purpose to gain benefit, and then maybe you felt guilty and so you reported it, right? And then they also wonder, what kind of other things do you know about that you didn't report? So that's number one, is don't utilize the thing, right, for your benefit. Don't say, "Oh, I was just showing," if you feel like you have something that you want to report, and you're not under any obligation, right, to report. You don't have to say it. Now, if you use something that's obviously illegal, then you're on your own. You suffer the repercussions of that action, but you're not obligated to report. But if you were going to report, if I were going to report a security vulnerability to a company, I would remember that the developers who develop this code, just like you're a developer, right? You have ego, right? And if someone tells you that there's a problem, especially if it's a big problem, especially if it's a problem that could cost millions of dollars, you're going to deny that. And so a lot of times what ends up happening, this is the pattern I see, is innocent developer finds security problem, they tell the company, report it, say, "Look at this huge problem that you have, it's crazy, I can't believe you missed this thing," and then that company says, "No, we don't see the problem." No, right? And so then the developer says, "Well, I'll try again." And they say, "No, we don't see the problem." And then they say, "Well, fine, if you're not going to deal with it, I'm going to make it public." And then they report it publicly, and a lot of people exploit it, and then they get into big trouble, and the company finally admits it, or there's this whole fiasco. That simple problem can be avoided just by understanding that those developers have egos. If I were to do that, what I would do is I would approach the company and say, "Look, I don't know if this is a big deal or not, and this is probably not a problem, but I just thought I would tell you just in case. Maybe you should look at this and see. Just let me know if this actually is a security vulnerability. I don't think it is. I'm sure that I'm wrong here, and that this is just a mistake, and I don't know what I'm doing because I'm not as smart as you guys. I'm obviously exaggerating a little bit, but essentially that's you want to convey that. You want to convey, I'm not as smart as you. I'm just wondering here. Maybe you could see, I discovered this little thing, probably not a big deal, emphasize that, and then show them the thing. Now because what's going to happen is they're immediately going to send it to the developer team or their security review expert, and when he looks at that, he's going to say, "Oh, okay, let me look at that," and he's not going to have ego involved. But if you have come and you've said, "Holy crap, I can't believe this is going to change the world, I can't believe you have this big security problem," they're going to be resistant from the get-go, right? And this is just an important lesson to learn in life, right? When you approach people, if you come combative, if you come with an idea, or you're trying to help someone, but you're doing something that's going to hurt their ego, they're immediately going to push. When you push something, that equal and opposite reaction, right? Newton's law, right? If you push, it's going to push back on you. So instead, you want to come by and you want to act like you're very, from a humble perspective of, well, you want it to be their idea. You want almost to lead them to the steps that would help them to discover it. In fact, that would be the best way to report a security problem, would be to lead them to the steps where you're not even saying there's a security problem. They follow those steps and they find it themselves, and then they think they found it. If your honest intent is to get that problem fixed, or that would be the best way, because now it's going to be their idea, they found the problem, and they're going to own it. Whereas if you're force feeding it down someone's throat, you should expect a negative reaction and repercussions from that. So anyway, great question. I think this is, again, I'm just talking about security problems here. This doesn't apply to any other area of your life. So just want you to know that. Only security problems here. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Talk to you next time. Take care.